Welcome, everyone. It's February 26th. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The big document of links is right here, robbybooker.com/biglinks. And sound check, screen check is good. It's February 26, 2020, and the recording check is good. All right, today we're going to talk about our next trade. Our next big trade is coming. I don't know where it is or when it is, but our next big trade, our next $57,000 trade is coming up. And our next $1,000 trade is coming up. I think it's more likely that we're going to see the $1,000 trade before we see the $57,000 trade. But my account is suddenly up to $48,000. It's not the first time this has happened. And I want to talk a little bit about that today as well. There are going to be significant jumps in your equity performance as we work together. And then there are going to be periods of time where we're just kind of stationary for a little while. And we want to balance that out as much as we can with some of those smaller $1,000 trades. I say big trades, small trades, big trades. $1,000, $57,000. Maybe it's $100 and $570 for you. Maybe it's $1,000 and $5,700 for you. I don't know what it is for you, but there's small trades and big trades, and every once in a while we're going to get a big trade. And then the rest of the time, hopefully, we're going to get multiple smaller trades that just keep banking the wins. So we will scan the Magic Formula investing list, the Insider Money Signals list, and then the Bounty spreadsheet. We will scan those spreadsheets and those stocks for trades that we can take. And we're trying to build a list of 200 to 500 financial instruments that we look at every day. And then what we're trying to do is narrow down the ones that we take by the best setups. So yesterday, as noted on Telegram, I closed UVXY. Turned out I made about $17,900 on that. So I want to talk today a little bit about that. I closed VBTX as well, and I want to review those trades and talk about those. We're talking about, can we buy the bounce in the stock market that's coming today? Talk about our open trades, and then review just one more time the fact that we're meeting in April, and I think it's going to be a great meeting. So let's talk about UVXY. There's clearly going to be some questions from some of you out there, like, wasn't this supposed to be, a $57,000 trade? And the answer is, there's a couple of answers. There's yes, and then there's no. There is the yes. The yes is, it was supposed to be a bigger trade than $1,000, and it was hopefully going to be a $57,000 trade. Those are all very, very true statements. And yes, I want to manage the trades from the charts, not the dollars. All of those things are true. So there are contradictions in life, and there are things that just don't go exactly the way that you think. And I wanted to hold this to $22.78. I really did. And then I reflected on the fact that we had a basically 48-hour move. We went from the 24th of February into today. And I just decided that every single time the UVXY moves, it moves for about 48 hours, and then it retraces. Boom, 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 retracement, and then up again. And I just simply decided to take the money. I just decided the 48-hour move overrode every other consideration. I had a win that was 17 times bigger than my average loss. Almost 18 times bigger than my average loss. So some of you wrote in yesterday. Some of you had the biggest trades you've taken in a long time. Some of you wrote in and said you made $2,200. One of you wrote in and said that you'd made $41,000 plus another $80,000, $90,000. One of you wrote in and had made $17,000 as well. One of you wrote in and said you'd made $8,000. And some of you wrote in and said you didn't have the trade anymore. And to all of you, I just want to say, we've made a step forward in our progress as a group. We are gonna have this year probably 10 more of those trades. And so if something didn't go right this time around, there's going to be plenty more of them. And I decided that taking the money was the right decision. And then if we retrace, And if we move back down to $13 or $14, I can just re-enter this trade all over again, and we could take another $17,000 or $57,000 trade together. And I'm really happy about all of it. I don't expect that I'm going to handle things perfectly or exactly in the same way that, the rules say. But I think we did a good job together on this one. If you don't still have the trade, or if you didn't have the trade, we're going to get a bunch more of these. And you're not going to miss out on the good stuff. And if you did get this trade and you took some money off the table and it was a lot or a little, this is a business of what have you done for me lately? And we got to move on to the next one. So I hope that's good. So if you missed out, it is a sad face, but we're going to get a bunch more. So let's talk about the next obvious question. If I think it's going to retrace, could I buy some puts? And the answer is buying puts on the UVXY is probably smarter than buying calls. Like if you think about it logically, this tends to go down, not up. So yeah, on a day when the S&P 500 is most likely going to have a bounce today, it's most likely going to bounce a bit. Yeah, I think buying puts on the UVXY is a completely 1,000% reasonable thing to do. And as we proceed through today's coaching call, I'll talk about that. I think that in general, we should be looking at doing that more often. I definitely agree with that in general, but I'm not going to just jump onto that. And we are going to patiently let this kind of play out. And I'll talk about some ways that we can do that as we proceed. All right, I closed VBTX as well. I just started clearing the decks. I had about $600 on that, I think. It's down even further today, so or yesterday it was down even further even after I closed it. If you still have VBTX, I just think it did hit the target. So in this case, we did hit the weekly pivot. And of course, there's a monthly pivot below and stuff, but we did hit a target. And that is managing it by the chart. And it was a great win. And I don't have anything else to say about that one. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. So let's look at what I have left. So VBTX, you can see here, where did we open it? VBTX. I spent $2,600 on 10 contracts, and I made $3,310 back, so I made $710 on that. That's close enough to $1,000. What trades do I have? Today I have Home, HRB, and TLRD. All of them are calls. They're all bull market moves. So let's take a look at Home, HRB, and TLRD. So Home. I'm thrilled to be in this trade, even though there's a bearish profit circle. I don't care. And this is an insider trade. It's probably going to be a short squeeze. I don't have anything that I want to change about this trade. H&R Block. Going into tax season, historically going into tax season has been a super giant positive for H&R Block. And the trade plays out over the course of months, not weeks, not even days. And so this is just sort of a trade that I'm not going to pay attention to for a while, and I'm not going to look at again, and I'm just going to hold it. This is TLRD. Tailored Brands is not doing anything that I want it to do. And at some point in time, I might just pull the ripcord on this one and let it go. But Michael Burry has it. He's a famous trader from The Big Short. It's a short squeeze opportunity. And also there are insiders buying this stock as well. It's got all the things that we like about stocks. I still hold Nokia, GTE, ONTX, DS, NLS, Club, MMLP, and Veritone. Veritone's doing pretty nicely now. It's up $350. I kind of feel like Veritone has this giant possible move coming up, and I definitely want to be a part of that. I would like to see this move up to $4 or so. take profits, and then I'd like to spend the money that I make on it to close the other ones that maybe aren't working. Like take some profit on this one and then clear the decks a little bit. I have a lot of trades, and from time to time, as you know, I like to get out of or get rid of some trades. Now I still have Tastyworks. Still have trades in Tastyworks. So I have Kodak, and we're expecting that to be an upward move based on this trend trade, the bullish profit circle printed, and we do expect the move to go up. Now we have broken through the lows, but that was on this like market panic. And I think the real lows to watch for are $3.20. And if we break through $3.20, then I think we need to sort of consider getting out. I'm down $2 on GNC, and I'm down $3.24 on Kodak. Inside of my $2,000 account. Oh, see, I am hiding the balance. So, anyway, so I should be, I'm up overall. I'm up like $250, as we talked about already. And these trades are minimally problematic at best. They're just sort of like just not paying attention to these right now. And I'm happy to be in those trades. I also have trades in my Thinkorswim account, but that is such a messed up account right now. I took like a $3,000 profit on FN the other day. The trade I held forever. It's down again. Probably down again. So I'll pull that account up in one of our next sessions, or even today. Okay, so Ali, how'd your UVXY trades go? Just asking. Sue says, I've been reading Trading in the Zone and focusing on refining my attitudes and beliefs. I love it. I've noticed a big difference in my confidence in trades. Okay. I love it. I love to hear this. I love to hear from all of you about that stuff. I think the next thing we want to talk about is we scanned for stocks yesterday. I don't really need to do that today. I don't think we need to do that right away. I think I want to talk about buying the bounce or buying puts on UVXY. So my problem on buying the bounce is, well, what the heck do we buy? Do we buy Facebook? Do we buy Snapchat? Do we buy Microsoft? What do we buy? Do we buy Google? Do we buy Amazon? The problem is, what in the world do we buy? And I favor things like Amazon. I think Amazon, it's started to fill the gap. It's bouncing off a monthly pivot. I like that. I love Microsoft. It's bouncing off a monthly pivot. That's where you see some movement. Microsoft's a little cheaper than Amazon, so that's probably a better idea. But is this really the kind of trade we take? Do we buy it on a bearish profit circle and bearish divergence and that playing out? No. So the minute I start talking about this stuff, I start to get like, what the crap am I doing? Why would I do that? And wouldn't I wait for a bullish profit circle on, the 4-hour chart like we look for? And so I have to say that when it comes to Facebook, the SPY, even Snapchat or Microsoft or any of those names, what I just think is really important to do, I just think it's important to wait for a bullish profit circle. I just can't, I don't want to change the rules all of a sudden. If we look at UVXY, probably going to head lower today, but there really is no bearish profit circle, even on a 60-minute chart. And when there is a 60-minute bearish profit circle on UVXY on the 60-minute chart, it's a pretty intense winner. It's a pretty amazing win. So why don't we just wait for that, right? In almost every single instance where that occurs, it's a gigantic win. 60-minute chart, even bearish divergence on the 60-minute chart. So what I want to do is I'm over here on the 60-minute UVXY, and what I'm going to do is right-click on the chart, choose Add Alert, and I'm going to choose profit circles and a sell alert. Now we did get bearish divergence yesterday, and we got it, last week, a few weeks ago, last month. But let's just wait for a bearish profit circle. It's fine. I can miss this. I don't want to chase after something right after we did a good job on stuff. And remember, like at any moment in time, you could have a pretty substantial move up again. There could be another volatility move up. I think we're going to go down first and then up. But let's just stick with the bearish profit circle situation, right? Let's just stick with that. We know that works. We know that that's what we can depend on. And so let's do that. So when it comes to buying the dip on anything today, we're just going to wait for a bullish profit circle. You could wait for a bullish profit circle on Microsoft on the 60-minute chart. I'll even put an alert in here to do it. We could take the greatest companies in the world that are owned by the largest number of investors, and we could do some options trading to benefit from the bounce. But why don't we not chase after something? Why don't we just stick to our plans and stick to the same formations that we look for? I think that's the safer way to do it. And then we won't feel like we're deviating from an important way of doing the work that we do. Okay, take a look at the comments. Yeah, charts all look the same right now, Mark. They do. They really do. Jason FOMO'd into the UVXY call later than everyone else, but still made $230 on the trade. That's great. LaDonna, I understand. What a bummer that we're just going to get another one, right? We're just going to get another one. I think more than sitting around talking about, how great it was, which I don't think is productive. I think it's more important for us to now ask the question, like, what are we going to do now? And how are you, based on the UVXY trade, especially based on the entire experience, how are you going to handle things differently next time? Would you? Should you? That's the question, is to review what we did and talk about it and think about, like, during the period of time in UVXY, were you chasing after other trades on other financial instruments that really didn't play out over that period of time, that didn't really fit into the structure of what we do? So there's a general structure that we look for, right? So generally, if we just pull up the coaching slides here and maybe make, what we look for. And then remove all this. So the first thing that we look for is we scan a number of lists. The Magic Formula Investing, the Insider Money Signals, those are companies that are being bought by insiders, that have high short interest, that are making a profit but have been falling. That's kind of stuff that we look at. And then the Bounty Spreadsheet, which are multiple bearish or bullish profit circles before earnings. So we know the lists that we're looking at. And that's a maximum right now of about 200 stocks. We want to get that up to 500 if we can. We look for a very particular counter trend trade. And that counter trend trade is multiple profit circles, divergence, and pivots as targets. And then we look at fundamentals or insiders. And then we look for a very particular trend trade. The trend trade we look for is one profit circle in direction of trend. And we look for two kinds of trades. A 1K trade is the small trade, and the 57K trade is the big trade. And we have talked about this before, but it's really important to mention this again. A $57,000 trade is something taken on a financial instrument that tends to be able to move 100%. And a smaller trade is on a financial instrument that doesn't generally move 100%. And that's it. So the UVXY can literally double in price. So it's a candidate for a big trade. Microsoft's not going to double in price once we take the trend trade. And so it's really a small trade. It's a smaller one. The size of the trade and the number of contracts that we trade, I can't give you a rule for you. First of all, that's personalized financial advice. The best you can do is extrapolate what I'm doing and apply it to yourself. If I have $20,000 in my account and I'm trading 10 contracts, and you have $2,000 in your account, you trade one or whatever. But you just have to think about how it applies to you. And the most important thing is we know our max loss every single time. We always know our maximum loss. The other thing that we know every single time is that we manage losses by numbers and profits by charts. That's a general rule. And there's allowance for differences in the way that we do things in each particular situation. That's our general principle. So a general principle, we scan on a number of lists. What if something comes in from outside those lists? We would consider it, but we would still look for a very particular counter trend trade. Maybe it's 2 profit circles, maybe it's 3, maybe in some cases it's only 1, but we know a general way that we look at things. Then we look for a very particular trend trade. We look for 1 profit circle in the direction of the trend. That's a pretty specific setup, but sometimes the trend is more obvious on some financial instruments than others. And then we take 1K trade as a small trade or a big trade, a 57K trade. And for each of us, that's a little bit different. Might be, it has everything to do with how far something might move. That's all it is. We always know our maximum loss, and we know our profit goal. There are going to be differences. Once again, these are general principles. We know that it could be a little bit more than our general max loss, and it could be a little bit less or more than our profit goal. We can close our losers a little bit earlier and save our money. We could close our winners a little bit early and bank our money. And we generally try to manage our losses by the numbers so that we're not convincing ourselves to stay in losing trades. We generally manage our profits by the charts so we stay in longer. I almost took $5,000 on the UVXY the other day, and it took everything within my power to go back to the charts and look at the targets and understand that it just wasn't even 48 hours yet. We did reach the previous high. I'm not sure I mentioned this. I think I did. But on UVXY, we did reach our previous high. And that factored into, managing it by the chart as well. So we know our general principles, and we want to stay within these boundaries. And by doing that, we know what we're not doing. Oh, I heard a rumor that a company in Houston has got something going on. Well, I don't really care about that. Or I watched CNBC and they were talking about, I don't care about that. I generally don't care about anything that anyone else is doing unless it fits into our parameters. It doesn't mean you can't look at a company in your neighborhood. It doesn't mean you can't, I don't know if I can even log into Profitly, but sometimes, I don't know if I have a login anymore for this website. Yeah, I don't think I do. If I go to Profitly, and sometimes I'll just look here, oh, somebody was trading APT. I can look at APT. I don't know what APT is. But I could, great job, everyone that traded APT. I could look at this company and I could say, well, does it fit in with any of our things that we look at? No, not really. Right? It doesn't really fit into anything. Now, if I had known someone was looking at APT and I saw this trend and I saw this retracement and I saw this bullish profit circle, We could have done something with that maybe. But I really only see these after the fact, right? TNXP. We really only see, these after the fact. We're not really looking to chase after something with other people. I don't know what this TNXP thing is. Or COCP. These are all like just penny stocks. And great job to these people. Good job, everyone. Obviously, this was a bullish profit circle and bullish divergence. Obviously, this jumped up from there. But it's too late now. I mean, this has already moved. So, it's fine if we want to look, elsewhere, like stocks mentioned on Mad Money. So I don't know. I don't even know where you find this stuff. I don't even know. But I mean, you can look other places for trades. It's fine. It's not a bad idea to do that. It's just unnecessary. So I'm just trying to keep focused on the lists we know that work. Okay. I really. LaDonna says, I'm trying to learn, but I don't know what I did wrong other than closing window earlier. Okay. I think I don't think you did anything wrong. I think the only thing you could have done differently is traded fewer contracts the next time so you could stay in a little bit longer. And then maybe just get ready for the next one. We'll probably do a better job of entering the next one, LaDonna. And you probably won't be in a position where you reach a maximum loss the next time. So we'll probably do a better job the next time. That's on me too. I think I want to mention something about expirations on things we look for as well, because I think this came up with Scott. I think I'm more and more, I like at least 90 days from expiration, as much as 120, and near the money, at the money, not in the money options. Those are things we look for as well. All right, so now I'm going to say, do you mind if we just focus kind of on psychology today? You feel like you're unsuccessful. Stop it. Act as if you are. Talk as if you are. And do affirmations as if you are. I have them written down. I can take a screenshot of it. I found and took the $57,000 trade. I wrote that for a month, every day, 15 times in a row. Every day I wrote that as if it had already happened. So if you are saying, I have a lack of success, then you've already started from the wrong point of view. If you believe in God, then you know that to God there is no time, and all time is like a sea of glass and whatever. If you believe in physics or science, you believe in wormholes and the theoretical possibility that as you get closer to a black hole, time slows down. Time is all relative, and we live in a linear world. But listen, you are literally hurtling forward in space on a linear timeline where at some point in the future you have already done the things that you have set your goals to accomplish, and you are exactly the same human being that does accomplish those things, and the only thing that is different is the passage of time and the acceptance that that is the case. And as soon as you accept that you are already successful, as soon as you accept that you've already done it, just at some unknown date in the future, but it doesn't matter anyway because time is relative, then you start just actually doing those things. If you change who you think you are, you change the results you get. It's identity versus behavior. Oh, I have to change my behavior. I have to stop doing this bad habit. I have to start doing this good habit. That's very difficult to do, and it requires tons of willpower. But if it's your identity, it doesn't require any willpower. If you love going to church on Sunday mornings, it doesn't require willpower. You just go because you identify yourself as someone who goes to church. If you identify yourself as an unsuccessful trader who has to begin doing good things and stop doing bad things, you will never, ever succeed. It won't happen. But if you just identify yourself as a successful trader, you will be in that UVXY trade the next time, and you will you'll get out, and then the next day you might get back in. Or when you get in the first time, you'll just take it with fewer contracts because you're not overthinking it. You're just doing things naturally. It's acting, becoming someone for whom success is effortless has a lot to do with stop trying so hard. So allow good things to happen to you because they do. What this means is also move on to other things. Read about rational thinking. Read about history. Learn constantly. Don't waste time reading about trading stuff. It's a waste of time. I mean, if you do in the ordinary course of reading a lot of things, you focus on or learn about trading, that's great. But if you are already successful at trading, would you spend any time? I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine that we would have a debate about this. If you are already super rich because you were a trader, you would spend time eating lunch with your friends and feeling relaxed. And you would enjoy your life. And you would constantly think about how grateful you are for all the good things that have come into your life. And read history, read fiction, round yourself out, and move on to those other things. I think part of it is remembering that a lot of stupid people get rich in the markets because they get out of their own way. There's a great interview with Henry Winkler, the Fonz, and I think it was on Conan O'Brien's podcast, but I'm not sure. And in that interview, he talks about how he moved to LA to become an actor. He would sit in his room just listening to records on his record player, kind of in a meditative state, visualizing himself as a success. And he says that's probably the number one contributor to why he became successful, is that he sort of got out of his own way. So I know it's hard to think of it from that perspective, but once you were in the UVXY trade, did thinking about it a lot change the outcome? So ask yourself that question. Does thinking hard about an open trade change anything? No, it doesn't. Think about other things. Part of failure is overthinking, right? Anyway, I could talk about that all day long. I think it's probably the most important topic. Let's go back to our... So I don't think we can buy the bounce. I think we can only buy the bounce on a profit circle trend trade, okay? And we'll keep an eye out for that on Microsoft, for example. Talked about our open trades. And we'll scan quickly through the list. And don't forget our open office, robbybooker.com/hotels. I will have a location today. I'm planning on staying at the same hotel where we meet so that I can hang out with you. And we can have dinner on Thursday night. So I'm going to stay on Thursday night at that hotel. That's the plan anyway. Or I'll just stay super late and we'll hang out. All right, I have a schedule change also. I am taking my daughter to the doctor tomorrow. So there will not be a coaching call tomorrow. Rare cancellation. And then I have spring break for the family coming up in 2 weeks. Not next week, but the week after. And then we're going to have an adjustment to the schedule during that time. I don't know how I'm going to work that. I might try to just rent a meeting space at the hotel and go down to that meeting space early in the morning and get our webinar done. Sue, I love you back. Wow, Sue had some trades, almost panicked about the coronavirus, almost closed some trades, but knew what she was supposed to be doing, held on. Those trades are profitable today. Wow, that's great. Jason Emerson, are there some time frames you like better? I like the 4-hour charts, period, end of story. Every once in a while, we will talk about the 60-minute charts like we did today, but otherwise I don't look at any other time frame charts. All right, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'll talk to you later, everybody.